In this class, we are going to learn about portfolio management and what are the steps in portfolio management. So, before that, we must know what a portfolio is. Usually, we do not invest all our savings in a single source. We usually prefer to invest in different sources. Likewise, the investors usually do not invest in a single security. They invest in a different variety of securities, and this variety of securities or the group of securities in which an investor prefers to invest in is called a portfolio, or you can say that portfolio is a basket of securities in which the investor invests in. And portfolio management deals with the analysis of individual securities as well as with the theory and practice of optimally combining securities into portfolios. So, portfolio management, as the word states, is that all the techniques involved in managing our portfolio. And while constructing a portfolio or while making an investment, there are two decisions that has to be made by an investor. The first decision is there is a wide variety of securities in the market. Which securities should the investor include in his portfolio? And the second one, finally he has decided that he shall include so and so securities. But what is the proportion of funds to be allocated to these securities? So based on these two strategies, we are making our portfolio. So portfolio management deals with deciding all these things. Now we'll see the phases of portfolio management. Portfolio management comprises all the processes involved in the creation and maintenance of an investment portfolio. It deals specifically with security analysis, portfolio selection, portfolio revision, and portfolio evaluation. It also makes use of analytical techniques of analysis and conceptual theories regarding rational allocation of funds. So, we are going to study the steps in the portfolio management. So, the first step in portfolio management is, there are 5 steps. Among it, the first step is security analysis. And security analysis you have learned in the previous module. That is, security analysis is the initial phase of portfolio management process. This step consists of examining the risk-return characteristics of individual securities. So, in security analysis, we are actually identifying the securities which have to be included in our portfolio. So, for identifying the securities, we look into 3 approaches. First is the fundamental analysis, second the technical analysis, the third is the efficient market hypothesis. And by studying these 3 techniques, we identify the securities which are to be included in our portfolio. The second step is the portfolio analysis phase. Security analysis provides the investor with a set of worthwhile or desirable securities. From this set of securities, an indefinitely large number of portfolios can be constructed by choosing different sets of securities and also by varying the proportion of investment in each security. As we told earlier, there are 2 decisions, that is, which all securities and how much proportion of funds to be invested in this. And we know that each security has its own risk and return characteristics. And while combining these securities and forming a portfolio, the portfolio will have its own risk and return characteristics. And we know, based on the proportion of funds invested, we can combine these securities into a different number of portfolios, and these different number of portfolios each will have its own portfolio risk and return, which will be different from the individual securities risk and return. So this portfolio analysis phase comprises or portfolio analysis phase of portfolio management consists of identifying the range of possible portfolios that can be constituted from a given set of securities and calculating the risk and return for further analysis. Identifying the range of possible portfolios that can be constituted from the set and calculating the risk and return for further analysis. This step is called as portfolio analysis phase. Then the third step is the portfolio selection phase. So from portfolio analysis phase, we have created or we have constructed different number of portfolios. The goal of portfolio construction is to generate a portfolio that provides the highest return at a given level of risk. That is, always when we construct a portfolio, we look for maximum return at a minimum risk. And so we'll be studying about optimal portfolios, that is the portfolios giving the maximum return at a minimum risk. So portfolio selection phase is dealing with how to select a good portfolio or how to select the best portfolio from the portfolios which we created. For this we'll be studying different theories in the coming chapters. Then next we shall go to the portfolio revision. The fourth step is the portfolio revision phase. So we know the future is constantly changing. The securities which might have been overperforming might become underperforming. The underperforming securities might become overperforming, and the securities risk and return keeps on changing. In the second case is our investment objectives keep on changing. Sometimes we may look for stability in the return, sometimes we may look for safety in the return. So based on that we may revise our portfolio. So portfolio revision, as the name states, comprises of revising our portfolio. The investor revises the portfolio based on the current developments in the market, and this revision is done by purchasing new securities and selling off the old securities. So this revision has to be done very carefully and very scientifically. This also will be seen in the coming chapter. Then the last step is the portfolio evaluation phase. So portfolio evaluation is the process which is concerned with assessing the performance of the portfolio over a selected period of time in terms of return and risks. That is, we had calculated the return, the risks, etc., and we had made a portfolio, and now we are evaluating it, whether, that is, have we actually got the return as we expected. This involves quantitative measurement of actual return realized and the risk borne by the portfolio over the period of investment. These have to be compared with the objective norms to assess the relative performance of the portfolio. And there are different techniques for portfolio management which also we'll be learning in detail. So to sum up, the portfolio management process is an ongoing process. It starts with security analysis, proceeds to portfolio construction, continues with portfolio revision and evaluation. And by evaluating our portfolio, we again constantly, it's a cycle, we again go to portfolio revision. So when we revise the portfolio, we again have to go to the phase of portfolio analysis. So this keeps on moving in a cycle. So only through proper portfolio management, we can get the better portfolio, or we can get a well-performing portfolio. So these are the 5 steps in portfolio management. Each step will be taught in detail in the coming classes. Thank you.